Good afternoon, everyone, Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are now in a defining moment, a moment when what is at stake is the very survival of our Earth. And our economies are also suffering, and the lives of billions of people threatened. This is the climate change moment. These are the words I spoke at the global meeting at the World Bank headquarters in September 2008. What progress we made in the past 7 years. In preparation of the closings of this prestigious event, the speaker have been provided by guiding questions by the organizer. One of the statements reads that question of how land is used are directly linked to question of who used the land. Question of how land is used are directly linked to a questions of who use that land. This is a very important statement. There is a beauty in its simplicity. Here today, we presented a scientific analysis that reveals that much of the world's carbon is found within indigenous peoples' territory today, in this building. This comes as no surprise to those familiar with how most local communities manage their territories and landscapes. We have the greatest motivations to maintain ecosystem integrity, and we have the traditional knowledge to do so. Question of how the land is used are directly linked to question of who uses that land. But it's regrettable that not all indigenous land are currently used by indigenous peoples. Millions of hectares have been grabbed, and millions more are threatened by industrial agriculture, forestry, and mining. The conversion of biological diverse, carbon-rich landscape and the destruction of life-sustaining watershed have brought suffering to our peoples and to the local and the global environment. In the past 2 months, forest and peatlands fires in Indonesia have released huge amount of CO2 into the atmosphere. Several million Indonesians have suffered severe health effects. And we indigenous peoples believe we have a great responsibility as we must play a central role in global effort to avert a climate disaster. But how can we do this unless our collective rights are recognized and our effort to manage our lands and our forests are supported? Ladies and gentlemen, we are all here at COP21 with the same objective, to slow climate change and the emissions that are fueling it. The world has never had such strong evidence of the role of indigenous peoples in conserving the forests that represent the one existing solutions to climate change. Worldwide, at least 20% of the carbon in the tropical forest is on indigenous land. Yet, we lack right to most of those territories. For those who don't see the link between indigenous territorial and land rights and climate change, you should know that we are the best guardians of the forest. But to continue to do this job, we need for the world to recognize our right as a part of any agreement on climate change. And our national government must make this happen if they are serious about reducing emission. Without us, the forest will be disappear. Without the forest, we will disappear along with our food, our water, our lives, and the essence of what makes us human. Without the forest and the peoples who protect them, we will fail in our goal to save the planet from rapidly evolving climate that puts humanity itself at risk. Given that scientific gathering serves to inform the negotiating process, I want to take this opportunity to insist that the main text of agreement fully incorporate human rights, particularly those of indigenous peoples, as an operational strategy for combating climate change. You cannot protect the forest from Paris, Oslo, from New York, from London. Only those us who are protecting it already can continue to do so. At this 11 hours from now, we must take action to protect the indigenous peoples who protect the forest. This is not about our lives alone. It is about all our lives and those of all other species with which we share this planet. In recognition of our common humanity and our common battle to save our planet, I ask you all to take a few moments of silence, breathe deeply. Can you hear the earth crying? Thank you very much.